when you first start out, you're kind of making a lot of educated guesses about what your audience wants. But when you start building that community, that's when you know what your audience wants, and then you can piggyback off that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another A2 Hosting webinar. Now, we do a bunch of these throughout every month, focused on our great agency owner partners and helping you with ideas and inspiration to grow your agency. Today, I'm super excited about this. I actually asked Sadie and my marketing assistant to be a part of this. My name is Corey Miller. I'm the Chief Evangelist at A2 Hosting. My background, though, is in marketing and communication. And so I've actually worked with Sadie and my MA team on several things. They've got a great business there, but I asked them to come and share this on behalf of our more web development focused agencies that we have at A2 Hosting. So I'm really excited about this webinar today, Social Media Mastery for Your WordPress Agency. And I have Sadie with me. I've known Sadie for, I want to say 5 or 6 years now, gotten to work with her professionally before. I think a little bit we overlapped at a previous company I was at. And then for the last couple of years, touched base, worked with Sadie several times throughout that adventure. And she's a real marketing professional. Her creativity, her design touch is unparalleled. She knows strategy, she knows social media. This is going to be a great webinar, and we're going to talk through these things as I worked with them, kind of pulling some of this stuff up, and they kind of reinvented. I don't want to spill the secret, Sadie, but they reinvented their social media this year, and using that as a case study to inspire your own efforts for social media. But Sadie, could you tell us a little bit about you and your work at My Marketing Assistant?
Yeah, sure. So, hey everyone. My name is Sadie Mayhawk. I have been with my marketing assistant. Now it's been about, I think we're coming up on 2 years. 2 years this month, I believe. I've been in marketing. Oh gosh, I try not to count the years now, but at least 10 years. Started in newspaper, then kind of moved to more print marketing when that was still a thing, and then have morphed and moved into digital spaces. Like Corey mentioned, we kind of briefly overlapped at a other hosting company, so I've got experience there and with WordPress agencies and with WordPress in general. And now I'm over in the agency space, doing more work with a lot of great businesses of all variety of sizes. So, yeah, a lot. Marketing has touched a lot of different areas. Social media, email, web, pretty much anything. But yeah, it's been really great here and getting to do that every day. It's a privilege.
And my marketing assistant really focuses on social media. And that was one of the compelling reasons to have Sadie come on and talk this through and give you a case study and some thoughts and ideas for how to grow your own social media for your WordPress agency. One thing in that, Sadie, I heard new, I didn't know as you started in newspapers, we have a common foundation there. Me too. So it's great. And for those of you who don't know what a newspaper is, it used to get printed and, you know, but translating a lot of those, what we now know as content marketing skills into social media, I think has been super foundational. And I've seen your work. I also know you worked at Design Pickle for a time, and that's a great service that does a lot of similar things to MyMA, except they focus on design and creative design work, I think, before coming to MyMA. So
I
that's
did. Yeah. It
so
was a lot of fun. A lot of fun there.
yeah. So MyMay, could you give us a real quick thing about what MyMay does, and then we'll kick this off and give you all some great case studies and information to help grow your social media.
Yeah, of course. So my marketing assistant, we are, as the name kind of says, a marketing assistant for a bunch of companies. We do basically the way we position that is we take the marketing off your plate. Whatever that you need us to be, that's who we are. A lot of our clients just, are small business owners, and they know that they need a presence out, in social media or in email, but that's not their forte. They don't really want to do that. And so they send that work over to us, and we take care of it for them. A lot of our other clients, I know we'll get into this in another slide, just they are in marketing themselves, but they just need help. Nowadays marketers are kind of expected to do all, and all is a lot. And so, if we can be just kind of another person on their team without really being on their team, that's what we do as well. So it runs the gamut. We have most of our clients, I say, are primarily focused on social media, but that is certainly not the only extent. A lot of blogs, a lot of SEO, a lot of AI that's coming into play more and more, of course. But yeah, I mean, for today's purposes, social media, and that's definitely our biggest bucket that we help people with.
And like Sadie said, you'll hear some of this as we use my MA as a case study for your own. All right. So, really, the goal for today was ideas and inspiration. And the reason why we thought this case study is how my MA, who's been doing this for several years now, um, reinvented, blew up their own social media at the first of the year and got down to the deep work that I think is going to be so good and parallel to you all and what you're doing. So our goal for today is to give you ideas and inspiration to take your social media to the next level. Now, I know you all, if it's sometimes the cobbler has no shoes. It's the same. But a lot of WordPress agencies that I talk to lean on the technical, love the technical, don't do too much in the marketing, but we see them all over the spectrum. So that's really the point here, ideas and inspiration. So we're going to walk through the case study, give you some high level things, and then walk it through so you can go, okay, so they talk about these avatars, these are mine. So ideas and inspiration. If you have questions, again, use the Zoom Q&A button at the bottom, and we'll be taking those soon. So Sadie, why social media matters for your agencies. You know this intuitively, but now it's not a non-negotiable about being at least present on the social networks, especially where your clients are. But can you talk a little bit and share some of the reasons why social media is impactful and an imperative to have at least something to be present, and your thoughts about all that?
It shouldn't be any surprise. Social media is where everybody is. And so if you're running a business, it's where you need to be. It's really as simple as that. And, that a lot of times, people kind of expect, that, oh, well, I'm going to be on Facebook and I'm going to sell my product or my services through Facebook. If that happens, that's great, but that is not necessarily, why you need to be on Facebook, if Facebook is where you need to be. It's really about having a presence. It's gonna be the first place that people come look. They're going to Google you, and then they're gonna go to social media. Um, and a lot of times Google, those first hits are going to be social media. So that's why you need to be there. There needs to be a coherent message. All of this kind of stuff we'll get into, but that's really the biggest thing is that is, it's the new yellow pages. It's where people are going to find you. And that's why you need to show up and have at least some sort of a presence there.
We put here specifically supporting your sales and marketing efforts. So, it's just like, you mentioned yellow pages. If you weren't in yellow pages, you weren't going to get found. Somebody's going to have to get lucky and stumble upon you. And I think, obviously Google and SEO is still key, but the social medias and the rise where most people are out there and will occasionally go, hey, anybody know a good place? Or I'm looking for something. And I think that thing is just saying, okay, we can be found. We're at least there when people show up. And we'll talk about this in a second, I know, like how MyMA has several different channels. But the thesis is we think the customers are on these, but that being there and cross posting, cross publishing is absolutely key to being found, when someone's ready to look. And like you said, it's one of those things. We'll go kind of search out, look on socials, see what other people might be talking about, and just having that presence. You'll see that in one of the avatars we're going to talk about, by the way. And then would you talk about this a little bit? Educate, entertain, engage, empower. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Your, presence is one thing. I mean, that's kind of the first puzzle piece. But really to make your social media holistic and make it make sense, it needs to do several things. And we put some of them there that we believe, are keys to conveying that coherent message that I talked about a minute ago. So educating, engaging, entertaining, and empowering. Um, educating and engaging, that's kind of self-explanatory. Entertaining, usually when we have a new client come on board, this is the thing that we have to tell people. It's, some people have a fun brand. We think we have a pretty fun brand. And so entertaining, is really self-explanatory. We try to make people laugh and at least give them a smile. Other businesses, for example, if you're running a law firm, um, you may not be making people laugh, but you do need to make people entertained. And what I mean by that is when we're all scrolling on our phones and we all have the attention span of a goldfish, I need to put something in front of you that makes you stop and read or click or watch. And that, for some measure, needs to be entertaining. Same with empowering. I need to give you the knowledge. We have one of our clients, they create organic treats both for dogs and for people. They're really big, into using organic products. So one of the things we do there is we try to empower that audience with the knowledge of why, these particular antioxidants are so good for you. Like, it's not enough to know that blueberries are good. Let's take it a step further and explain and give you the empowerment to really understand that.
I love anchoring it back, talking about my marketing assistant and part of your brand, the value is the lightheartedness, the playfulness, showing marketing can be fun. It can, make people laugh. But that anchors back to, and we'll talk about this more about what your values are for your agency too. Um, I know when we talk about vanity metrics, I know you all have been working on a t-shirt that's basically, I think, saying, I'm not a vanity metric or something like that. And but all that, and I think a lot of our web development agencies that might be listening on today, know a vanity metric where uh, everybody wants this. You want to go viral on social media, but is it really doing the impactful work for? Is it helping move forward people that are prospects, finding prospects, moving them forward to become clients and customers? But thoughts on the vanity metric part?
Yeah, we see that quite a lot in social media. A lot of probably the easiest one to highlight is impressions. A lot of times people will see, impressions getting in the thousands, or a significant percentage increase and think that that means something good. And, the truth is, well, it can, but not always. Like, that's really not what you want to be focusing on. It's a good thing if, your particular post is getting high impressions. And if you see a drop in impressions, then that's something to pay attention to. But that's really not the end all be all metric that we want to focus on. And so, yes, going viral is great occasionally and it's a lot of fun and it can lead to something good, but really what we're about is keeping a consistent effort and, putting together a strategy that works and then iterating on that strategy when we start to see some kind of results.
So the three C's that you all think about when we're talking about social media success, can you talk about these a little bit? We know this, you all agency owners know this. If you don't keep your website, your clients don't keep their website active and going, it's not going to help drive the initiatives, the goals that that client has for them. But can you talk about these three C's?
So consistency, I mean, obviously we've been kind of talking about that a little bit already. The second part there, give it a try for 3 months at least. That's usually what we tell new clients when they're coming on. A lot of people think, particularly for social media, they think that, within a very short amount of time that they need to see some kind of results from it. And social media is a long game. Really kind of any marketing effort is a long game. You need to be at it for a while before you start seeing results. We usually tell people, let's wait 3 months and then let's reevaluate. Because there's so much at stake, the algorithms, figuring out what your client or what your audience is responding to. So that's why, we try to tell people it's really about just being consistent and being consistent for at least 3 months before really kind of pivoting. Second one, connection. This piece, it goes missed a lot of times. People just kind of think like, "Oh, okay, well, all I need is a presence and that's it." And sure, a presence is a big piece of it. If you don't have a presence, you definitely should. But engaging, and connecting with your audience is really where you'll start to see a difference. Think LinkedIn. LinkedIn really, really likes it when you go and you comment on other people's posts, and when you like comments on your own posts, when you comment back and, engage with people. Um, Algorithms will really start to favor you when you do those types of little things. Then the third part of that kind of pivoting off connection is building a community. You want to create a space where people know what to expect when they come to your LinkedIn page or to your Instagram page. You want to, obviously start having conversations there, engaging, part of that piece is engaging with that audience and then creating content based off of those engagements, what you're hearing from your audience.
I think this word community is one we might know, okay, consistently. We need to be consistent on it. But I think this community one is really one as we were preparing for that stuck out from you all's philosophy and how you approach things. When you look at social media, just like we do this webinar, we do these webinar series through A2 hosting, and there's a sense of community and engagement. But that's what we're really trying to build. And I think it can help shape a different perspective about your social media. Like there really is a community of people and intended for the people you serve to be guiding, supportive, engaging, and helpful as they're on their own journey that your product or service connects in and helps solve.
Yeah, totally. And when you first start out, you're kind of making a lot of educated guesses about what your audience wants. But when you start building that community, that's when you know what your audience wants, and then you can piggyback off that.
And I think if you look at that like that, also and go, it's a way for you to learn about your clients, what resonates from stats, from how people ask questions, for trying to draw those questions up. Get them out of their shell, posting something back is a very engaging way to look at social media. So I love this because everything we do at A2 Hosting and also I know Mike Marketing Assistant is back down to that foundational thing. Who are you for? Who are you working for? Serving what products and service what people do the products and services you build and maintain and do for others help. And getting that foundational thing is key, I think, to your social media where you're just not talking about yourself, you're talking about their journey. So I think this is foundational. A lot of the conversations I've had with the MyMA team, with you and Lindsay and Kenna, who we'll talk about in a second. But can you talk through these for a second here?
This, I think, really harkens back to the journalism, piece, that you can, I know, identify with Corey as well. You're asking these very foundational questions, and you can't really start talking about your brand, until you've asked and answered these questions. So, at the most basic, who are your customers? What do they look like? That will tell you a lot, not only demographically, I mean, that's a really important piece, but, then you kind of pivot into the what are they looking for? Um, are they looking for you to solve a problem? If you are a brand that offers some type of a service, what is that service that they're looking for? And then lastly, where are they? This is kind of a two piece. I mean, yes, there's kind of a depending on what your brand is, geographically, where are they? That's kind of good to know. Digitally, in the social media space, where are they? Yeah, you don't have to show up on every single social media platform. You really need to figure out where your audience and where your current customers and potential customers are. And so, and then you kind of need to know where they are in their own journey to coming to your brand. Is it very exploratory? Do you need to give them, more of those education pieces that we talked about earlier? If so, then, turn that up a bit. Are they ready to purchase? Then you can give them that piece. So the where question, there's several different directions you can take that, and all of them are important.
Now we're at the case study. So give us a little background to this, Sadie, about we're talking about social media for WordPress agencies. We're using our own to show you all have drank your own Kool-Aid. And but it was a big thing you all did in reinventing your social media.
Yeah, I think like many agencies, we got so caught up in the client work. which it's not a bad thing. You want to show up for your clients and you're just so focused on that your own pieces kind of fall to the wayside. You put clients above yourselves. And we still put clients above ourselves, but I think what we realized is, it was harder to make the sell to people. Look what we can do for social media when, again, you go back, to some of those first couple of slides, presence, we didn't have a really good presence. It was very fly by the seat of our pants. When we had the time, we would put something out there. And so kind of turn of the year, we made, a decision that couldn't fly anymore. And we really needed to, as you said, drink our own Kool-Aid. We needed to really, be consistent and putting ourselves out there, and being thoughtful and trying to figure out, going back to the last slide, who our customers are, what are they looking for and where are they? And then that kind of led us down this road to completely revamping our own social media. And we're just now kind of getting to the 3-month part. And so we're starting to see some of those initial results come in. And that's what we're going to share with you guys.
So again, the first question we asked on the brand was, who are you for? What really, and the best way to think about that is to look back, and you all had several years of client work and you started to surface up, okay, who are the best clients? Who are the ones we go, we love working for these people and they love us back. Like it's a very good mutual beneficial conversation. I think that, and when you think about in the past, looking back, just think about those right now. Who are the best clients you've worked with? Maybe it's the ones you currently have, but also look in the back. Even if there's some in the back, you're like, these were great. We did our cycle of what we could do for them and they graduated on. Start thinking about those avatars. Who are the best? And then also the packages, of course, the way you might, as a WordPress agency, deliver the services to those clients. And I want you to be thinking too, is what is delivered to. So the who and the what, because that'll come into play here for a second. But working with you all, you came up with 2 groups of people really, but it was 4 avatars that started, and it was easy to see, okay, there's 2 types of avatars, but you split those out into 4. Can you talk through those a little bit? And by the way, you actually put some names here because it helps to me when you know really clear. It's one thing to say, "Oh, we help small business owners." That's one thing, but when you really make it real and tangible, when you think of someone in mind that kind of typifies that kind of persona of who you're helping. But could you share a little bit about that, Sadie, and talk to these avatars?
So as you can see, the 2 groups here that we kind of identified were small business owners and then marketing leaders or marketing professionals. Um, and these were the clients that, we said, like 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 Corey mentioned, we've really enjoyed working with. They've enjoyed the relationship with us. And if we could clone them and, work for only these types of clients, we would be the happiest people ever. And so therefore that's who we wanted to go after. So starting with the small business owners, we have Rachel first. We kind of designated her the responsible business owner. She's a tax accountant, I believe. That's her full-time gig. But she also has a side gig running a rehearsal studio. And so we partner with her for the rehearsal studio piece. And her whole thing was, I know I need to be on social media. I don't like social media. I don't wanna do it, so you do it for me. And that's really it. That's all she was looking for. She just knew that she needed to be showing up on these social media platforms, and that's what she asked us to do. So that's what we do for her. It's very straightforward. It's a lot of fun. We, try to drive traffic to her website. Very easy peasy. She's great to work with, and she likes working with us, and so if I could have 20 more Rachels, I would. The next one is the rapid innovator. This is Raina. She is one I talked about a minute ago that has a company. She makes, treats and, very nice tasting things. And she has poured her heart and soul into this business. It means something, very personal to her. And she is just constantly trying to come up with something new, testing new flavors, testing new methods. I think last time we talked to her, she was, building her own commercial kitchen. So that is where her focus is just innovating her business. And she doesn't literally not have time to do the social media pieces. So she tells us what event she's going to be at. If she has a new product she's just put out, she lets us know, gives us all the info, and we take it and run with it. And put that out to the world about, the new things that she's doing and coming up with. The second group, are the marketing leaders. The first one we have is Abby. Abby, her full-time gig, she is herself a marketing director, and, she works for a financial institution, and she just does not have enough hours in the day to do everything that she needs to. She's focused on event planning, um, you know, having these conversations with the leaders in her organization, and she does not have time for social media. And so that's what she has us do for her. She's great to work with because she tells us exactly, what she wants us to cover. If there's any, promotions that they're running that particular month, new people signing up for, a checking account, she lets us know and we put that out into the world for her. And then the last group here, this is kind of our newest, like our newest package and newest kind of client. This is somebody, strategic leader, John, who has, a very large company, has his own marketing team, but really what he's lacking is strategy. And so he, relies on us as social media experts to help him and his team come up with a plan for their social media. I think in particular, his was LinkedIn, and they just wanted to grow their LinkedIn. And they had been trying different things. They didn't like it. They came to us for evaluation. And so we looked at their account and, put a plan in order to tell them how they could continue to grow their LinkedIn followers. So those are kind of the different avatars that we picked out, and like Corey said, they correlate to the different packages that we offered, and therefore that led to who we decided to target onto social media.
Why are they great customers? What is their situation? What do they tell us? What do we sense in their work? And just when you talked about the responsible business owner, it's like, wow, that was an insightful moment for me, at least, to go, okay, this person that you all love to work with, um, goes, just just do it. I'm gonna give you enough information, but just do it. And she's happy back. She goes, I know she knows. That's what you called her the responsible business owner. She knows, just like we're talking about agency work, is you need to have your profiles out there to be found, to be stumbled on. She realized the value of that. That's excellent. But then goes, I just needed to be there. I want to trust you all to do that. And we'll see in the next slide here how we put another counterpart to that, which is the answers to these questions. But one thing that came up too are these two types. Just talking through you all's avatars of those best clients, it seemed real quick like we came up with the four, but it seemed real quickly there's two groups. And this is where we can get generic with things if we just stay here. But the two commonalities between these two first avatars were they're really small business owners. They're doing a lot themselves. And then the second was really compelling because those are great clients too. They actually have significant positions at bigger organizations, and but their needs are vastly different than the other avatars. But it seemed real quickly to sort out between these two avatars. And why I'm kind of camping out with that for a second for you all listening is to do the same work. Just think about, try to list 5 of your clients you've loved working with over the years, and then find those commonalities as you start to kind of drill in. What's their situation? What do they do? Why has this been such a good working relationship? And I think through that, you'll start to see some patterns emerge and go, you know what? We're best for nonprofits that have a 5-person staff. Or some of those things that we might look at as demographics, I think kind of fleshes out better when you can picture real people that's been a great relationship and start to see those patterns and commonalities between them. This one really wants to camp out and just do what they're doing and really relies on us. And we love working with them because they trust us with the work. Okay. So now the flip is, so as we were doing this work, Sadie, thinking through the responsible, the rapid innovator, the savvy, and then it was like, okay, next is what are they really looking for? They are on a journey to do something. So responsible, Rachel knows it's imperative to have these things up, needs them to get the word out and be there and be present, but also goes, okay, just needs it. It's almost probably set it, forget it. But you all started putting together these other side. What they really need is, because we drew that from the client experience, they need and can you talk through those for a second?
Yeah, and so this, like the first one, this is Rachel. She's the responsible business owner. All she need is somebody just to do the work for her. She knew it needed to be done. She didn't want to do it or didn't have time to do it herself or maybe just didn't even like it. So that's what we did. We, done for you marketing expert. We'll take care of it. We'll take it off your plate. You don't have to worry about it. Now you have a consistent presence on, these couple of social media platforms. And when anybody looks up your rehearsal studio, they see, all the information that they need to get in order to, give you a call or book a space. Next one, this was Raina. She's the one that's always innovating her business. Really, what she needed was somebody to promote her business. She does a lot of local events, and she wants people to know that these events are happening. Think very, shop local type thing. And so she just needed the word out there. And so, we worked to um, get the information out there, get it, in front of her audience, who her potential customers were, and let them know where she is and what she'll be sharing with them. The next one, savvy professional. This is Abby. She's the one that is a marketing director herself at a financial institution, and she just needed a partner. She needed, another person on her team who could be in charge of this particular thing. For us, it's social media and email for her. And that's what she needed. And so, we act as almost, a person, on her team. She, can't hire another person, so she hired us. It's, more economical. And so we take care of that for her. Last one, John, strategic leader. He just needed a coach. A lot of times social media, it can feel um like you're just kind of going into the abyss and you don't know what's put out there. He had a goal. He knew what that goal was. That goal came from above him. They wanted more LinkedIn followers because all of their business is conducted through LinkedIn. But they needed to get in front of more people than just their own internal team. And so they needed to reach more people and get them to turn around and follow. And so that's what he relied on for us. And we coached him through how he could change his LinkedIn approach to get those followers.
And I think this was foundational because then it starts to inform how you all show up on social media for these type of clients that you want to attract more of. And as you put here, they map to the key processes you all do, what you do best, and to the packages that you sell for people. And I think that was a great, by the way, this experience, if you just do this exercise for your business, it's going to help you in your full all business, not just your social media. So I think this is foundational why we've spent some time here because getting that foundation right is absolutely key to make sure it's effective, to make sure it's actually driving results and doing it with live clients, past, present, is makes it makes it more real. And I keep kind of hammering that, but that is foundational work that any business owner could do to help build their business and make it more real about what they're doing for them. But part of that was thinking, okay, what's our role in this and answering those questions? What do they really need as we started thinking through that? So now is the where and what. Okay, so we've done this work, and this was this you're getting summaries of things that the Miami team and Sadie did a lot of work on this, really pushing down and seeing, okay, these clients seem to be excellent for us, and there's a lot of learning in that. But the next is to figure out, like that third question we asked in the beginning is where are they? So I know Sadie, you mentioned as we were talking through this that you all are on 4 platforms. So the content you're producing, you knew could be cross-posted and done effectively, but you also had at least 2 that you thought, okay, these 2 are the ones we think, and we're going to show some data, but we think are going to be the ones that help us connect with those key people, find more of those key people, and lead them through our sales process. But can you share a couple of the reasons what formulated your decisions of when you're reinventing your own social media and how you did it?
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of touched on this at the very beginning. A lot of people think that they need to show up everywhere. Just because TikTok is trendy today does not necessarily mean that you need to be there. Um, and so we really took a step back and looked at, each platform, what each one gives you, what are the different um, you know, pieces, why would you be on one versus the other? How do you do that? And we decided to really focus on four. So, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube Shorts. Um, the ones that we really, really put our focus into are Meta, so Facebook and Instagram, and then LinkedIn. Um, Meta, we kind of found that that's where our small business owners tend to camp out. Whether there are on Facebook, obviously, Facebook is really great for building community and promoting events. Instagram is really great for visual promotion. A lot of what we do is social media and other types of visual marketing pieces, and so we want to showcase that, and we want to, show everybody how a brand can look cohesively, and so that's why we need to show up there. LinkedIn, is where we determine that a lot of our marketing professionals hang out, which makes a lot of sense. And so we needed to show up there as well, and be speaking primarily to them. You mentioned, and it's here too, that we cross post to all of those, but the way that we kind of, change the language is very subtle. And as we kind of get more data, like I mentioned, we're only barely 3 months into this. We'll continue to iterate on that and change it a little bit more depending on, those results that come through.
I know, and we'll be talking about how this maps, but I love the delineation is LinkedIn for those two avatars under the pro, and then the small business owner, that other group, Facebook and Instagram. And I know from y'all's work, you get a lot of obviously with the algorithms on those social networks prioritizing video, so you do get a lot of those things, and that was a consideration, a part of this. But I know part of that you think, okay, go down the four avatars and what are they really needing? You know, and really as you're thinking through this for your own clients, think about what was the problem they were really having. And it might have been they came to us for a website redesign, but there was something in there they were probably having the real problem that or the real challenge they were trying to solve. And I think it was really interesting going through the avatars or the avatars and being able to surface that up because that's gold for content. So think back again. I'm going to keep anchoring you back in these avatars, the real clients you've had, past and present, and think about what are those real issues. What did they say back to you after you delivered a project? What did they say to you? Were the emotions relief? Were the emotions, what were those around those? Because there's something there that they're really trying to get done. And how I think about that is a journey. They're all on a journey to do something that you're, just like Story Brand, the book by Donald Miller, Hero with a Thousand Faces, where that came from, Joseph Campbell talks about there's a guide that comes up, a mentor, a guide to help them support them in the journey. And that is gold for content. When you really think about those live action clients, what they're really needing, what questions they're really asking, it helps you understand there's something underneath that. They're uncertain about something. They feel like they don't have a capability to do something. And that is where you can spend time and go, oh, okay, maybe we talk about our process in this, but this avatar and the needs and the gaps, huge. And I see here again, we talked about this in the beginning, but I love it. It's that it's not just posting to post. It is, okay, these two groups you all have talked about, the small business owners and the marketing pros, they have similar needs, similar wants. They're looking for similar things, and that all formulates the content into that community where they go, this place, in this case, we're using my marketing assistant, is a resource for me on some of the questions I have. And I think some of the entertaining things comes up too, especially when you think about the savvy professional and the leader is like, they probably know vanity metrics are a thing And I know that comes into some of the content that you all build and forming that community around your common customer themes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we wanna make marketing accessible to people, so whether you're a professional sometimes you just like to laugh at, marketing profession in general, and, we laugh at it too, and so we wanna share that, but, for other people, more for the small business, you know, clients, we wanna make them, understand that marketing isn't this scary thing. It's accessible and it's easy to use. You just sometimes need help getting there, and that's totally fine. That's what we're here for.
And it can be fun, which is part of you all's DNA and your values there. But I think a lot of these, as we're talking to these avatars, they have this angst about it. It's like it's a necessary thing, but I don't like it because it constantly changes, or I can't keep up, or I've got all these other fires going. Like for instance, Raina, the innovator, the rapid innovator, she needs to camp out and do what she does best, which is create new products, but she needs someone to kinda get that word out, "Help me. Okay, I'm creating. Now someone help me promote that." And back to the community aspect, that there's common themes and patterns here you all hope you're already seeing. If you're seeing some of that already, you got some ideas, share those in the chat, and by the way, there's still questions coming in, which is excellent. Okay, so this is important. I think this is really a secret sauce for what my marketing assistant and previous, they had a company called Content Journey that merged together to focus on the my marketing assistant work. But you all have done a lot of work on this, and I asked for this specifically because during our conversations, this really rang a bell. And I think it's so important, Sadie, as we talked about, these real people we're thinking about and trying to put ourselves in their shoes, see them put on like the client VR headset and see the world as they do. The other side of this is who they need, but grounding back into who you are is absolutely vital. So there's three here. These are the principal leaders and my marketing assistant. Can you talk through those a little bit?
Yeah, totally. Lindsay's done a really great job putting together a team, and she really focused on bringing people who, weren't all the same. Each kind of brought their own thing to the team. And so when we, talked about reinventing our social media, we really wanted to lean into that because, it works so well for the team. So why wouldn't it work for social media? That was our theory of the case. And so, we kind of broke those down into three different buckets here. So we have Lindsay, she's our founder, CEO. She, I think like many founders and CEOs of companies is, real focus on inspiration and empowerment. And so, using that as, I really want to inspire people why they need marketing and why, marketing isn't the scary thing. It can be, really easy for you to do and work well and empower your brand. And so we wanted to lean into that. Kenna is another person on our team. She's a strategist and she also has a background being a professor. And so, her whole thing is about teaching and sharing the knowledge. And so, kind of harkening back to one of the earlier slides, education is a big thing. We want to educate people you know, why LinkedIn is an important place to be for your brand. And so we want to teach people why that is and give them that knowledge. And then you have me. I am the team millennial. I am all about the gifts and the memes and making it fun. And then using my own marketing experience, I get the jokes. I like the jokes, and I like making people smile at the end of the day. I mean, obviously we want, to put great content out there and help everyone's brand. But we want to have fun at the same time. And so I wanted to bring that piece into the conversation. And all of that led us to kind of really finding our tone and our voice and how we talked about ourselves.
And I think this is so key because you all listening to this might have the same hang up that I do sometimes, which is, oh, I've got to be on social media. I have to be king or queen of social media and do it like these other people do it really successful. And I don't think that's a good way to go about it. I think it's who are you waking up in the morning? And if you all don't know Lindsay, but Sadie and I do, and she is the playful side. She is the fun side. She wants the work it's serious work, but she wants to have fun doing it too. So that naturally comes out. But that's her angle there. And as you talked about Kenna and yourself, those are natural angles that come out of it. So if I would have said to them, hey, I think you should do this, this, and this, but it didn't resonate with who they are, it would come off not great. It just wouldn't land because it's not as authentic and natural to who you are. And that's so as an agency owner today listening in, I'd say think about just who you are showing up. So imagine you have your own avatars you've thought through, past and present clients that are great, and you're in front of them. There's 30 in front of them and you're giving a talk or you're sharing something. What would you naturally do or say? So Sadie takes the more lighthearted, fun, humor side. Kenna, if you know her in the background, she was actually a professor for over 15 years. She's got a PhD. And so it's natural for her to be more teacher. But you look at Lindsay and Kenna, and they're a little bit different. They express themselves differently. And that maps back to content that you would naturally share. So I think a great exercise is your avatars, those real people in front of you, and there's maybe segment them. You might not want to put the marketing pros in this example with the small business owners, but if you have that client set, put them and say, okay, there's 30 of them. You're giving a talk. You're sharing something to them. What would you say? What would your pitch be? You know their needs. You know what they're looking for. You've done that avatar work with real clients in mind. And now, how do you just naturally show up on calls? Think back, get some feedback from other team members, other people on that. What I tried to help a Sadie and team do as well to make that natural and authentic and powerful. It's going to be more powerful if it's authentic and natural. Now we're going to get to some of the actual strategies. So all of that was the foundation into how they reinvented your social media My Marketing Assistant. Can you talk through a little bit of what you're seeing so far? Like you said, you were good to drink the only Kool-Aid. Is like you tell clients, just do something for 30 days, do this type of work, avatars, what they need, how you show up with a voice, but then do that for 30 days. So you're still in your 30 days, or I'm sorry, 3 months, 90 days. But here are some of the things we wanted to share with you all. Could you share some of that?
Yeah, so this screenshot here is from our insights that we get into our social media platforms. The percentage of the change we're looking at is the first 3 months, well, almost 3 months of this year, and then looking back at all of 2024. So you can see, growth metrics and followers. Our goal was to increase our presence on social media, and a huge part of that is followers. All of those, with the exception of YouTube, that one's a little bit different. All of those have increased over, almost 3 months. And so we are starting to see, the things that we wanted to see. On the left-hand side are some of the ways that we've gone about this. I think the first one we've kind of talked about quite a bit. The second one there, repurpose content. This was a big one for us, and it's something that we always preach to our clients. And so again, it made sense that we drank our own Kool-Aid. If you are or one of your brands that you work with, if they do podcasts, for example, you can take a podcast, you can get transcripts from that podcast and turn that into blog posts and then turn that into social media posts. And then, maybe, a carousel works really well on Instagram. Well, now you can go, clip it and turn that into a video for YouTube. There's just so many different ways that you can repurpose your content. And that was a really big one for us that we didn't need to focus, creating more and more and more content. We just had to take what we already had and repurpose it. And then the other one there are, implementing content buckets or what we're calling content buckets. So for our own social media, we decided to start following a pattern, and this really helped us. Before we did this, like I mentioned, it was very, fly by the seat of our pants, and kind of whenever we thought about it, we would post something. And so this gave us a roadmap to follow each week. And of course, as things change, we can change it. But for the most part, it's kept us on track. So Monday, we decided we wanted quotes and testimonials. If they were, marketing, kind of inspirational quotes, going back to Lindsay being the inspirational person on our team, this is where we would share them. Tuesday, tips and tricks. This one, of course, aligns more to Kenna, teaching and sharing that knowledge. Wednesday is the day that we decided we would talk about ourselves. Thursday, we would share the knowledge. This again is part of that education piece. And then Friday, this is where I get to have fun and I get to share fun marketing memes and gifts, to make us more approachable. So that's how we decided to implement all that strategy into our weekly social media.
By the way, I think you all would say this, but just like when you build a website, you got to keep it moving, but you got to have some good thesis to test out some data, and that's what you all did. You do for clients, you did for yourself to say, okay, we're going to commit to 3 months to do this. We think we've got a good foundation here, but we also know things are going to move and change a little bit, and we need to adjust. And so that's where the growth metrics. You all know this. You do website work for clients, you know how valuable having good Google Analytics or some data information to measure what works and what doesn't to do more of. But I love this because see how that maps back, right? To avatars, to needs, to their voice, who they are naturally showing up. Because if you're not going to show up naturally, it's going to be tougher, by the way. It's going to be more of a thing where you're going to be liable to procrastinate, and that doesn't hit the consistency bucket. So thanks for sharing that strategy. Some of that. Now, what have you learned so far? You've got some good learning, um, but give us some insights so far. You're still in your 90-day window, but so far, here's some things you've learned. Could you share this?
Yeah, so this screenshot again is from our insights that we get from our social media scheduler. This is particularly looking at Facebook. We decided to highlight that one, and it's telling us what is working. So Facebook really likes, we have determined, video posts with a long caption that's asking a question. That's really specific. But now we know, like, okay, we need to be creating more video posts. We need to be asking people a question, and it needs to be a longer caption, longer versus shorter. We've determined, for Facebook, when's the best time to post. That, dictates when these posts get in front, have a better chance of getting in front of our audience. And then it's determined that this type of post is 125% more engaging than other types of posts. So we're taking that and then, applying that to the content that we build out going forward. That way, we have a better chance of getting in front of people. There's a better chance that they engage with it. Hopefully, then there's a better chance that they click through, and book a call with us to talk about their marketing needs.
Those are some great initial results. Video came up. It was a theory. It was a thesis that going into it because a lot of clients ask for it, and that's how the algorithms are wired. So now we've got data to start to calibrate in. And then I love the giveaway knowledge, give away the gold is, there's so many times I want you to hear agency owners as you're listening to this is your process matters because it helps people get results. And as you're thinking about those clients, there's probably some things that stick out in that process. I know you all at My Marketing Assistant have your processes down. And part of that was sharing that back with customers to say they want a result, they wanna trust that the result's gonna happen, and that comes through a process, and I'd be willing to bet you all agency owners have processes all over that you might take for granted because they're just intuitive to who you are and how you show up, but I bet you if you even ask some of those clients that are great clients, what really resonates, it probably has to do somewhere with the process that give them trust to deliver the result they needed. Some tips and tools. I know you wanted to share some of these just for those of you, you might be aware of some of these, but some of the ones you share with your clients back with my MA that get more involved, but sharing with our agency owners, you put this list together. Could you share a couple of those?
Yeah, so some of these, I'm sure, many of them probably heard before. Canva, obviously, you don't need to be a professional graphic designer to be good at graphic design. Chat GPT, particular custom chat GPTs, you know, obviously a lot of people are using chat GPT for a variety of things. We've found that if you can build a custom chat for each of your clients. So if you already know a client's style and branding, how they like to talk about themselves, creating a chat specifically for them is so beneficial. We use this to brainstorm ideas all the time, and it's a great tool. Um, a variety of scheduling tools. There's no reason to be going in there and scheduling on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. They're all capable of that, but you can get so much done so much more quickly if you use a scheduling tool. Pod Squeeze. This was one, I mentioned a couple slides back, about podcasts and, repurposing your content. This can be used. It's one of our favorites. We use it not only for podcasts, but for video as well. You can upload a file there. It'll create a transcript. It'll use AI to create, blog posts. Sometimes they're pretty good. Sometimes they serve as a really good jumping off point. Um, you can create just a variety of things. Transcripts is probably the biggest one that we use. It's a great tool for that. And then Opus. This one uses AI powered to clip videos. So if you upload a longer, let's say, a longer YouTube video and you want to pull out, clips to use on social media, this is a really great tool for that. It'll analyze the video. It'll also like upload, the captions onto the video because we know that social media platforms really prioritize videos with captions. And so it'll do all of that for you. It'll make recommendations. It's a really good tool. And these are some of our favorites.
All right. Well, thanks, Sadie, for being a part of this webinar. If you have a little bit of time, Sadie, I'd like to take some of these questions in that came up. And if you have other questions, post those. If I know Sadie's busy doing her work over at My Marketing Assistant. And thank you so much for My Marketing Assistant and you for your time today sharing this live case study. I think live case studies are even better to like give the ideas and inspiration and show that you all did all this work is foundational. So David asked, I have this idea that you have to be a subject matter expert to post about my company's activities. How do I let go of that and delegate the task? So I think it's really interesting is I think what David's saying here is, it's hard to delegate out some of those things, but I think the key for you, and Sadie, tell me if this is your experience working with your clients, is the key for you as the leader, the person that runs your business, is knowing your goals first and foremost. Where are you trying to go? It not down to marketing goals, but know what you're trying to do in your business. No one can tell you that. You need to know that yourself. And then how are you going to get those goals done? And so one of those for me, I try to major in my strengths and the areas I know I can make the most impact and delegate the other things to people that's their strength. That's their secret sauce in the world. And finding those is obviously always the tough part, but it helps me when I stick to the things I'm best at. I know you all at my MA talk about that a lot. Stay the subject matter expert of your business, pull that out and share it so that someone else can take it and run with it. But do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with all of that. We run into clients sometimes that have a really tough time kind of letting go. I mean, look, we're never going to know your business better than you do. We don't pretend to. And a lot of times what we tell people is, social media, the really great thing about it is it doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, imperfection is favored a lot more on social media than perfection. Now, obviously, you don't want glaring errors. You don't want to promise people the moon when you can't deliver the moon. But, being a little bit authentic and, being conversational, that's what helps you, show up more to people, specifically on social media. I think like that's where it differentiates between, social media and like a website, for example. That is a source of truth and that kind of needs to be as close to perfection as it can be. Social media really doesn't. And so we tell people, think of social media as getting you 90% of the way there. If you think we are 90% of the way there, then we're there. Because you're never going to be 100% on social media and you really shouldn't aim for 100%. And so but I totally understand it is sometimes really hard to let go and kind of pull back and let it go on someone else's plate. But like Corey said, this is where you have to like lean into what other people are good at and roll with it. And then, you start to see the results shortly after.
And it's really tough work to do that, to let that go. So I'm not trying to underestimate that at all. But I think letting go of some of that is helpful when stay where you're strong at, delegate the support you need to get there. So huge. So let's see. Another person asked, does reposting count? So, to frame this, Sadie, I think website owners might go, okay, how many things can I talk about? But I bet you there's some common issues when you do your avatar work. But how do you think about reposting?
Yeah, when we think about reposting, a lot of thing that we tell clients and we practice ourselves is we kind of use a 6-month rule. We kind of wait, and we'll evaluate and we'll look at what we've done, previously. And this goes for social media, it goes for other things as well. Blog content, for example. Um, you can reevaluate every 6 months and see, like, okay, what worked well 6 months ago? And, "Oh, this particular post worked really well. I got, a lot of eyes on it, a lot of people liked, a lot of people commented. So I'm gonna just literally take it, copy and paste, and do it again." Then you can reiterate on that and say, like, "Okay, well, now I'm gonna take it, I'm not necessarily gonna copy and paste it, I'm gonna reword it, maybe put a different kind of CTA and see how that does," and see then you can start to compare. But we really use the 6-month rule, and, copy and pasting and doing something you did 6 months ago, especially if it worked well, do it again. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. If it's worked, it'll work again. And then you can start making slight adjustments to kind of really hone in on what is working well.
Angelina asked, do you do anything with your email marketing list or just with social media? And this is where we didn't get to really talk about all that my marketing assistant does, but you do leverage the other content marketing things, particularly email. But
Oh yeah, 100%. A lot of newsletters, that's primarily what people come to us for. Newsletters are, I think, kind of like social media. A lot of people realize that they need to be doing them. Email marketing is not dead. That is what I was in charge of when I worked at Design Pickle. You get you for ROI, email marketing is probably one of your best bets. And so getting in front of people consistently, that is something that's really important. We've done this exact exercise that we did with social media, we've done with email as well. We determined that we need to be in people's inboxes every week. And so we have a weekly newsletter, and that's something that, we also do for our clients. So all of this that we talked about for social media can be replicated and do the exact same thing for email.
definitely a holistic process where you all do use for your own agency, Google SEO, email marketing, social, and it all connects together. And those are all touch points if you think about it for potential clients. And then I would also say your social media, if you've done it through this process, can help be all the creation to summarize, to curate into an email that get delivered to the inbox. Well, we've gone over time. Thank you all for being here. But Sadie, thank you for my marketing assistant being willing to share all this as a case study and share your expertise, your experiences as you go. I know people can reach out to you from my marketing assistant, but anything else we left out before we sign off today?
I don't think so. I just wanna, thank you for having me. This was really great. We love showing off, and giving the knowledge away and, just helping people with their marketing. It's what we do, and so I'm happy to be here.
And I know they can go to my marketing assistant, hit the content form if you're interested for yourself. I know you all actually work with other agencies and helping them with their client work too, a natural extension for what you're doing. And I want to say thanks to my marketing assistant and mention that as you all have donated your time to prepare all this and to so openly share it. So thank you, Sadie, mymarketingassistant.com. And thank you, everybody, for being here to another A2 hosting webinar. Keep watching out. We're going to have more of these coming soon. Maybe we'll ask Sadie and my marketing assistant to come back in a couple months and share how the first 90 days, what they're learning the second. And if you're interested to share more about what you are eager to learn more about and dive into. Thanks, Sadie, and thanks everybody for today.
Thank you.